Welcome to another Island Blue podcast. I'm Christopher Kiss, and today we are joined by Mariella Theophanous, and we are going to go through the legal aspects of buying a property in Cyprus and investing. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for the warm introduction. It's a pleasure to be here, and I'm looking forward for today's discussion.
Thank you too. What would you say are the first legal steps someone needs to take after they decide that they want to buy a property?
They have to appoint a lawyer in order to make all the title deed checks, that there are no encumbrances, there are no mortgages. Also, they have to check if the property has all the necessary licenses, that is a building permit and the planning permit. And of course, make all the checks on the developer, their financial status, their company status.
Is this something you and your team can assist with?
Of course. We can assist in any step from the beginning until the end of the investment.
Can non-EU citizens legally own a property in Cyprus?
Of course, there's just a limitation to 2 units, and the total land area must be up to 4,000 square meters.
Can foreign individuals or foreign companies invest into property here?
Of course they can. In order to define the term foreign, for non-EU companies or nationals, they can invest up to 2 units with the total square meter area, land area of 4,000 square meters. But they can, of course, register a Cyprus company, so they have the status of an EU company, and then they can buy as many properties as they want.
So there they have no limitations at all?
No limitation at all at that point, yes.
What is the process of obtaining permanent residency through real estate?
First of all, you have to decide the property of your interest. That property must be of 300,000 plus VAT and above. When you find and you decide on the property, then you must have an annual income of 50,000 per year, and that increases to 15,000 for your spouse and 10,000 for each dependent. When we say dependent, we mean your kids up to the age of 25.
How long does the permanent residency process usually take?
Look, theoretically, 2 to 3 months, but practically it might take up to 5 to 6 months, depending on the bureaucracy.
So it's somewhere between 2 to 6 months?
2 to 6 months, the maximum. It might be sooner than that, but you always take you get the safe advice to your client.
Once you're there with you and your team, it's all
They're
sorted.
Always safe.
They're always safe,
Yes.
and the cigar, it will happen, right?
Yes. No rush.
No rush. Is there any inheritance tax in Cyprus?
No, there is no inheritance tax in Cyprus, and this enables investors to pass property to their loved ones without the obligations of any tax.
How is property ownership secured in Cyprus, like title deeds and these kinds of processes?
Okay, so once you sign the contract of sale, it will be deposited at the land registry. This secures the ownership of the property until the title deeds are issued. Once the title deeds are issued, then you also have a title deed that your name is registered on it.
And this secures that you are the owner
of
the property.
This secures that you are a legal and beneficial owner of the property.
What if there is no title deeds?
If there is no title deed, even when you have the contract registered at the land registry, it means that you are the beneficial owner of the company. And also there is a special procedure when there is a problem in the unlikely event that there is a problem and the developer cannot issue title deeds, then there is a special procedure that you can follow to obtain the title deed. However, if you decide to cooperate with a trustworthy developer, there is no such issue. So they will always have the title deeds issued, and that's why you appoint a lawyer to make sure during the due diligence process that there are the building permits, planning permits, and everything that is needed in order to issue the title deed.
Thank you so much for clarifying that, because before this conversation, I had no clue about what title deeds are.
See, it's always good to ask a lawyer.
Now that we have connection, we will make sure to do that. Can buyers open a bank account in Cyprus remotely?
Of course, some companies allow that. and they allow the investors to open a bank account without their physical presence here in Cyprus.
How can buyers ensure that they are working with a trustworthy developer?
This is where the role of the lawyer comes in again. When you appoint a lawyer, they will do all the company search to see the status of the company of the developer. You will appoint an accountant to see the financial status of the developer. So you create a team that will protect you and protect your investment.
Are there residency or visa advantages connected to investment?
Of course, when you apply for permanent residency, you are also entitled to be part of the national health system, so you can benefit from that. Your children can go to schools here in Cyprus, and you can go to a number of countries without the need of a visa.
Can property ownership lead to citizenship on the long term?
Not property ownership as such, but you have to reside in Cyprus as well. So you have to show that you're living here, and also you have to be able to speak a little bit of Greek. And you can apply after 7 years of permanently residing here. So not just owning a property, but also living here in Cyprus.
What are the terms of that actually? Like you are living here, but how much time? That's it. Actually,
You have to live for more than 7 years here in Cyprus, and then you are eligible to apply for citizenship by naturalization. This is how it's called.
How can a lawyer help streamline the entire purchase process?
We can, first of all, conduct all the due diligence checks on the property and the developer. Then we can draft all the relevant contracts and agreements regarding the purchasing of the property. We can make communication with the authorities. And we can also apply to the Council of Ministers in case that someone is a non-EU national. And also we can help with the transfer of the property onto your name. So in summary, we can help from day one until the last day of your whole investment journey.
And you can do it again and again and again,
Yes, and again
and you
and
help
again.
with
Exactly.
all the steps included. This takes off a lot of pressure, especially from people who are from abroad. They don't know where to start. You help them to start, and you take them to where they want to be, sorting all their legal issues so they don't have any headaches down the road doing
Exactly.
everything right.
Choosing a trustworthy lawyer is the smartest move you can do when deciding to invest, especially in a foreign country. So
Thank you for listening to today's Island Blue podcast, and thank you so much for joining me, Mariella.
thank you for having me. It was a pleasure.
Yes, it was a pleasure, and I have so much more questions, so probably we can already schedule
Of course.
next podcast. And if you have any questions, we on that next podcast can answer those questions, or we will leave some contact information where we can navigate you from towards. So thank you again for joining today's podcast, and see you in the next episode. Thank you.